Hey, everybody, welcome to the Ruint podcast. We're back for 2025, along with my co-hosts, Brooks and Noah. What's up, fellas?
How's it going?
Hello.
Oh, Tehya, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Tia's on a hot mic this time.
Hot mic, producing from behind the
And we
camera.
still don't have a camera for her, though, but
The messed up part is she has one on the computer. She just refuses to put it on herself.
Budget's tight. Just say that.
Yeah, budget's slim.
hey, we can
2020.
we'll get something worked out for the next show.
If
We
get
say
a
that every
sponsor
time.
for the show, then we'll get Tehya a mic.
Tehya, the people want to see you. They want to
Yes, so.
see you and talk to you.
All right.
We'll put up still pics, headshots of Tia. So look for those.
voiceover.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Like when she talks, we just have
My
a portrait of her.
My 80s headshot.
Yeah, that'd be great. We haven't done this in a while, so thank you all for coming back and tuning in to us. We are live from our new home for the winter, at least, Fat Cup Studios. Want to thank Ryan and all the people at Fat Cup for letting us come in here and do this today. And we're ready to start scrapping, Brooks. Start talking scrap.
We're scrapping. We be out here scrapping.
We be out here. For those of you that don't know, Brooks owns a sticker for his hard hat that says "We out here."
Yeah, it's a little green alien man.
With the peace sign.
One of these. Is that all you got for that?
Yeah, it just says peace.
That's a few sign out. So, let's review 2024 since we're beyond it now.
I feel like we should
Yeah.
do a recap show.
Well, this is kind of a recap show. We had a lot going on in 2024, didn't we?
There was a lot of
We
moving
started
parts.
the show in 2024, didn't we?
We did.
Established.
That was our birth.
Yeah, our birth year. We started in 2024. We're
I
happy to
don't
be back.
remember
We've
right, it's the year
been.
of the monkey too.
What does that mean?
Actually, don't even know if that's true or not.
I think it is the year of the monkey. Yeah.
This is the year of the monkey, or 2024 was the year of the monkey.
Yeah.
I just remember hearing
I've
about
never
year of the
heard
monkey.
of that.
It's
so.
the
You ever go to a
Chinese
Chinese restaurant?
Yeah.
Tia, will you quickly look up what animal it was for the Chinese year so we can be accurate in our description of?
I looked that up, Jamie.
Don't sue us. While she's looking that up, we've had some administrative changes to our country. Noah took a lot of part in a lot of protests.
Yeah, I voted, if that's what you mean.
That's your form of protest is just a vote. Is this the first time you ever voted?
No, this is my second.
I see. You vote in state and local too, or just the general election?
I vote state, but I don't know who anybody is, so I just kind of pick and choose.
Dude, it's like
I feel like-
completely blind for me in every election. Like I only know about maybe 20% of the candidates, and the rest of them I'm just filling in dots. Like
And
I
it's
know what I'm
crazy
doing.
because the state and local ones are probably what's going to affect you.
Those are the most important ones, and they're the least
Exactly.
that we engage
My
with.
favorite thing to do is the water conservation guy, which usually doesn't
Soil and water.
soil and water. Excuse me.
Yeah, I always write in a friend of mine.
Yeah, I'm truly for years. Me and my buddies wrote in our buddy's dad to see if we could get him just on the news as 1% of
Yeah.
soil and conservation.
Yeah, we did a thing on social media a few years ago, and then now every year since where we write in the same name, and he's got to be up to over 1,000 write-ins. So we're trying at some point to get this guy recognized.
Well, and wait,
And
who wins that election? There's no name.
what do they do? I don't understand what most of the positions
Is that a paid position too?
Right, and here's another stupid thing I do is I vote out every judge because I feel like, hey, you had your chance. let's get some new blood in there.
He's a judge. Do you replace them like the same party, or do you just
It doesn't matter. I just say no to the current judge. Yeah,
replace the new one?
and he could be the best guy in the world. I would know, or gal.
5.
Right.
Speaking of, it was the year of the dragon in 2024.
And so what's the year this year?
Oh, that I don't know.
We'll wait till you.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
oh.
Year of the snake.
The year of the snake. This is Jeff's year.
This is my year. That is I've been saying that for weeks now. The year of the snake. So
You want to explain that nickname? Or
I'm just slippery.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Just slithering around. You're not very stealthy though, like a snake, are you?
I can be stealthy.
Can you?
Yeah, I knock over a lot of things when I walk by 'em and stuff like that. But no, had a big year in 2024. Ruint has been a good portion of our business and our media output. And I want to thank all you guys and Tehya for allowing me to be a part of it. It's a fun time, and we are hoping to improve on maybe our consistency.
Yeah, we
going
want
into
to put out a few more shows this year. It gets busy. In the wintertime, it's kind of hard to do this. So we're kind of on the road this winter on tour anyway, and probably going to be at Fat Cup for most of it. But yeah, obviously here in Iowa, it's been frigid. We're not really able to shoot in our normal locations. So
Yep.
here we are.
Climate control in the building. Noah was putting us in.
The only downside to that is instead of drinking whiskey in the morning, it's coffee.
Noah was still drinking whiskey.
Was he?
Yeah, we drank. You were too. Yeah, we were bourbon.
Yeah, but we're not in your barn anymore. We've got to drink coffee now.
We can bring bourbon in
Do you
here.
think they'd let us bring whiskey?
Oh yeah, Ryan be about it. Yeah, almost not.
All right.
But
with vanilla latte.
so some new policies coming into play. Obviously, President Biden has retired to the hills or somewhere, and President Trump is making his presence in, changing a lot of things up right away here. And
His desk the first day was full of bills.
got lots of bills.
It just
dollars.
stacked up.
paper bills.
Paper bills.
I've never seen.
Like menus.
Yeah.
At a
Have you ever
restaurant.
seen at the inaugural ball? They're actually doing a signing ceremony. I've never seen
No.
that before.
No, but he's an unprecedented guy too.
Yeah, and they also had. I'm a Hulkamaniac forever, and they had Hogan. He was part of every step of the thing, and it was so weird.
What's the name of the last Bob Brooks?
Starlight.
Where they had Tyson. They were carrying Tyson.
Yeah.
There's always Jake Paul carrying Mike.
Was it Jake Paul? No.
Yeah.
I think so.
They both
yeah.
were there, but yeah, those guys are just celebrating, suckering us all into watching that fight.
Yeah.
And us paying them millions of dollars. 2024 was a great year for both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I think it was.
Even though the fight kind of sucked, but
Well, that was the point, that we got suckered into paying all that money.
Well, and I'm sure everybody else experienced the same thing.
I watched the highlights the next day like a normal person.
You didn't miss much live. It was really just watching the Netflix buffer.
That's true, too.
It was a nightmare. Like, I had to watch it on my phone.
So, wait, did we experience what Noah experiences whenever he tries to watch Netflix?
Pretty much, yeah. Noah doesn't have internet at
'Cause he
home, so he
refuses
just
to get
runs on
internet in his
cellular data.
I mean, you just don't check your social media or anything if you're planning on watching something the next day. Because you don't want to be spoiled.
You're always 24 hours late to anything.
So are you gonna get like anything at your new house?
Like internet?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The scrap life has afforded Noah to build himself a new castle,
It has.
But no internet.
but
I don't know if I can break down and get internet.
Or Chelsea.
a mill, like a water mill to power. Yeah.
Dude,
Solar panels.
how far out are you from town?
Oh, from town a ways, like 15 minutes from the nearest hospital.
Yeah, this is a good excuse to get Starlink. Starlink's getting better and better. This is a good excuse to. I think I'm going to get it for the boat. Yeah,
I've got a houseboat. Brooks over here has a yacht.
it's not a yacht.
Yeah, you guys are
Redneck yacht club.
building new houses, having yachts,
It's not a yacht.
going into debt.
Yeah, well, you got to commend Jeff. He's taking 7 children to Mexico tomorrow.
He's going on a trip with 50-some people.
He's not lying. I mean, 3 of them are technically adults, but yeah, we're heading south.
Do you think those 3 are going to want to babysit for you guys, or?
They have voiced a position that they will not be babysitting,
Right.
and that they can consume adult beverages down there and not to be 21 yet, but they're above 18. So that's what they think they're doing.
Did you put your foot down on that?
I don't like to put my feet down. No, I like to stay off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Float like a butterfly.
we'll see when we get there.
Sting like a beaver.
We also reminded them of the bank account that's paying for all of this, and so
Are you going all inclusive?
oh yeah,
Yeah, it's the only way to go.
we're going to the
Let's go.
Hard Rock.
Really?
And,
Give me a
Riviera
t-shirt.
Mall. I'll get you a t-shirt.
Oh, you're going to be right where we stay. So the Hard Rock sits like here, and then our hotel's like here.
Why don't you stay at the Hard Rock?
Or maybe I'm thinking of the golf course. There's a Hard Rock golf
Going to the
course.
golf course too.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking the golf course.
Probably.
But it looks nice.
Why don't you stay at the Hard Rock?
I don't know. Because the place we stay is on the beach.
Well, so's mine.
Is it?
We should talk about this off air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did look at Tea Times, the Hard Rock, and it was like a couple $100.
Oh, yeah.
Or something. So
You gotta get those resort credits too.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how they get you to spend money. Like I got like 500 resort credits the last time I went somewhere, and I thought that was something. And then I went into their little gift shop, and these little fucking wooden trinkets are like 400 credits. It's like a keychain
like
for
an
75
arcade.
credits.
Yeah,
It really is. It's like Dave and Buster's or something.
Like we're going with a significant group of people, and there are a lot of people in our group, and they're like, yeah, the golfing's this much, but you can use your resort credits for it. However, you have to spend 20%. You can only use 80% on it with group credits, and that's how they get their cash out of you, type deal. And they're like, if you want to use your resort credits of the shop, they have a section that you have to pick out of. It's not all the nice stuff. It's like the napkins that are left over that say Hard Rock on them. You can use,
Napkin.
you can use those.
I think this one's got a little sauce on it. I don't know.
James Brown wiped his mouth with this one.
We need to take a scrapyard vacation to the beach down in Mexico.
Well,
That'd be awesome.
That would be
Jerry's
awesome.
on the beach.
Nobody wants to see.
No.
You've seen Jerry in shorts before. In fact, you lent Jerry.
Yeah, in Nashville.
I think he probably gets third-degree burns whenever he takes his pants off. I mean, have you seen
wants to see
them?
my legs.
They're
They're all
white as a sheet.
They are white. They haven't seen the sun in years. But kid borrowed me some shorts. Did you ever get those back?
No, I told him to keep them.
They gifted them to him. So, but anyways, yeah, 2024 was a great year. 2025 shaping up to be one so far. We're going to be at St. Louis
Yep, looking forward to that.
in 3 weeks.
What do we expect to see change in the world of scrap with the new administration coming in?
I think you're going to see flow. You know, I've heard a lot of pundits lately talk about energy and how if you reduce the cost of energy, it kind of boosts the economy as a whole. And that is true. You know, that scrap is a form of energy. You know, that is where we're building things and keeping the country rolling. So, you know, I've said this many times on the show before, you're probably better off to follow scrap markets by oil pricing than you are to follow,
Sure.
new steel or something like that.
And another big indicator, I think, is building permits, and we see that those are starting to tick up too. So hopefully we're going to see the markets follow that trend. You know, if we see oil prices and building permits, things starting to go move upwards, we're naturally just going to follow that trend.
It seems like it might be a complicated answer, but if you think about it, the more stuff we build, the more stuff we do, the more scrap there is, increase our flows, which then needs more demand. I mean, it's a basic supply and demand. Yeah, when it comes to
Right, exactly. And that's I think that's part of the way that deregulation kind of affects things is we always get a great big boost whenever we start to cut back on regulations, especially in our industry, but in construction, any of them.
Yeah.
So, you know, we hope that that's what we're going to see a little bit more of out of this administration is to cut back on regulations and kind of pump some more blood into this economy, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I think a lot of people, scrap pricing necessarily hasn't been the worst it has ever been or anything like that. But the cost of doing business, whether it's inflation or other factors, made last year a tough year for a lot of scrap yards, And so, you didn't see a lot of closures or anything like that, but it was harder to run the business, due to inflated costs and things like that. So hopefully bring some of that down and get things moving again, especially in our neck of the woods. Being in the Midwest, the winters kill us, and if agriculture's down around here, that seems to be cyclical. But hopefully we'll start seeing some flows here of more material and obviously more consumption out of the Chicagoland area.
Yeah. And a question that I've kind of had, and I think a lot of folks have, kind of a hot topic is what are the potential incoming tariffs going to do to the scrap world?
Do you have any thoughts on that, Noah?
Name one of the tariffs, and I'll tell you.
Well, there's just going to be
a big one.
Well, we don't necessarily know yet. He's going to put tariffs on different countries. Yeah, like importing steel,
more than
maybe.
anything else. And so if you look at it from directly related to us, you're starting to see this deal with Nippon purchase of U.S. Steel that's kind of delayed now.
Right.
I've heard some rumors that there is some other big key players getting involved into it. Because I don't have solid information on it, I won't say that, but it sounds like at least there's been some communication between two U.S. companies to come in and be a part of this, and also prevent Nippon, the Japan company, from purchasing U.S. steel.
So you're saying like U.S. steel that we import now is probably going to be down in price for new steel?
So talking about two different things. U.S. Steel is a company that's
but
a mill, but
I'm talking like new steel pricing. Are you thinking it's going to go down? Because
it gets competitive, and so when people say the price of steel is up, that's going to be a natural occurrence in the economy. Like things just it's never going to be tremendously less expensive to get steel. You know what I mean? Like it's going to kind of continue to build and build. But people, a lot of our customers, and again we've talked about that on this show before, say, well, my price of new steel's up, so why is my price of scrap up? And that they're not really correlated to each other. It's more of a long-term game for these steel mills to be able to fill their order books. So by the time their order books slow down, we see that effect on either side of it, either ahead of it several months or behind in several months. So, but as far as again, basic economics, if we start building more stuff and doing more stuff here, naturally scrap flows are going to be better. Consumption's going to be better by steel mills, and
manufacturers are going to produce more scrap.
Yeah, so that's naturally what's going to happen, I think, in the scrap business. But I think the big thing for us is the operating cost for scrap yards should improve or be less, I should say, in 2025, just because there are being some things put in place to curtail inflation and things like that. So very serious answer.
No, it's good, and it kind of raises a couple other questions. We said that there's really not a direct correlation between scrap prices and new steel prices. So just to build on that a little bit, in terms of the supply chain, if you take recycled material versus ore, is there enough of a similarity there that there's really not that much difference in price, in terms of supply chain by the time the iron ore is made into a new product?
I wouldn't say there's a direct correlation necessarily. Obviously, they are going to mirror each other somewhat, but they're not linked, in my opinion, in the way that if new steel goes up $30 a ton, that scrap's going to also go up $30 a ton.
Sure.
If there's usually a period in between there, like I said, if you follow oil and you see how things are moving, then you're more able to see, we're moving more. Oil's getting cheaper, therefore things are moving more, scraps more.
And as much as the basis is set upon like the supply chain, it's also speculators, right?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So they seem to have a bigger impact than anything. It's just calling what they foresee as being, a future price. And that's just based on what's going on in the economy.
One thing I'll say about the tariffs you brought up, and this was in Trump's first administration this happened, and so to put it in general terms, a lot of these U.S. companies, instead of taking advantage of being more competitive, just raised their prices in order to match the tariff value of the importers from overseas. So it really didn't have the effect on steel, at least, or scrap. Or I shouldn't say scrap, metals, materials, that sort of thing. It didn't have the effect I think that they were hoping for. And I think you'll see that change this time around, whether you like Trump or not. He was overwhelmingly voted back in, change a lot of things that had been going on, and a lot of companies seeing that right now, and I think it'll be a good thing for the economy in general. But his big push is going to be to have products made here, American jobs,
and that's ultimately what tariffs are for. The original purpose was to make a foreign import cost more than that like product that's made here. So it's going to drive more manufacturing, we hope. but it seems like we got a long road to get there.
Yeah, we did some research before the show, and there's an interesting article, and Brooks, I'm going to mess this up, so if you can correct me, please do, but looks like EIN News is where this comes from. It was released on the 22nd of this month, January 2025, regarding the valuation of the scrap market in general. And again, kind of different than what we're talking about, but the scrap valuation had a 2023 valuation of $253 billion. And then in 2024, that's expected to be $263 billion. What's really cool about that is that we're a very niche industry. However, we're a pretty substantial player, with that kind of
Absolutely
valuation.
Not many people know that either.
No, we're still kind of getting away from that stigma of being junkers.
Yeah.
And this is just proof in the pudding that scrap's an actual commodity, and it's something that people are actively pursuing in terms of the supply chain. So
Let me give you the name of the article here quick too, so I can give them proper credit. It looks like this says news provided by Wise Guys Research Consultants. And the title of the article is Scrap Metal Recycling Market Valued at US dollar $350 billion by 2032, growing at 3.64%. In other words, we're going to add $100 billion in valuation to the scrap.
just in the next 7 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see people be more conscious of scrap. I think you're going to see more of an effort to not put so much stuff in the landfill. And, scrap's unique in the sense that it's known as recycling, different from, say, plastic. There's not as much value to it, so people are more likely to recycle their metals or steel products.
And come up with ways to improve the efficiency of recovery, right?
Correct,
We
yeah.
want to be able to pull as much recyclables out of any given piece that we take in as we can. In the old days, that amounted to not a whole lot, but now that processes have improved, we're getting a lot more out of each piece of scrap material that we take in. And that's part of the reason why we're going to see this start to ramp up a little bit, is because the methods of recovery are changing. The technology that we have now is changing. So we're going to see a big jump in that, and we're going to need to, because infrastructure obviously has some issues. We're going to see a lot of work on that front, and it's going to take a lot of scrap material to get it done.
Yeah, 100%. There's another Fast Markets article that's talking about marginal growth for Q1 this year. So you're already seeing some of that take place. We're in Q1 now. We saw an uptick in January, but we didn't see this drastic change. So I think slow growth is the way to make it definitely happen.
Yeah, and when we start to grow at a sort of a slow pace, that tends to be more of a permanent thing, and to set a new baseline, so to speak. It's not just market volatility, but it's valuation going up.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so I think you'll continue to see that in our industry. I think the more we promote this industry, like our friends at ReMA, and we talk about recycled materials versus scrap, and use that word. I've been saying scrap a whole lot, but I should probably jump on the bandwagon and say, recycled material.
Yeah, recycled materials, recyclables.
Do you think I'll be shunned by the industry?
No,
Using the wrong term?
and not for that specifically, but for a lot of other things, probably.
What?
We shouldn't get into those reasons publicly, but we can have a little discussion after the show about your shunning. Aren't you Catholic? Haven't you been shunned before?
Yeah, the best part about being Catholic is you get to ask for forgiveness and just do it all over again. Ain't that right to you?
I'm not Catholic.
Okay.
She's a Methodist.
Are you?
What?
Are you Methodist?
No.
Are you?
I was confirmed Lutheran.
Confirmed Lutheran here as well.
Yeah.
Just normal
But
people.
I don't go to the same church.
Just
I was-
confirmed, though, not really
Well, I
practicing.
don't go to the same church that I was confirmed at.
Okay.
Yeah, I go to a different one now.
Noah goes to a church called Haverhill.
Yeah. Saturday night.
What is that? Beer. Oh, is this a tavern in your area?
Yeah.
Better than a tavern.
Yeah.
I think we need to do a show there, honestly.
They would love it, but we have to do it on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Of course, rowdy.
Yeah, it gets a little rowdy. I've been on the bar.
Dancing?
Yeah, I hit my head on the ceiling fan.
Classic.
You seem to dance on a lot of things. When we were at the big show in, where was that, Vegas last year?
Oh yeah,
That was disturbing.
the poolside.
Yeah, for everybody. All of those people were 60 years plus, and you're swinging that thing around like it's an appendage.
Yeah.
I didn't know what else to use it for.
But it wasn't just you. I mean, there was a full-on rave basically going on.
There was.
It was all
Yeah.
the like ReMa people, wasn't it?
Well, it was some of them.
For the record, Tehya was the one that said that. Drake White and Sean.
But it was because it was their VIP area.
There was some behind.
Yeah,
there.
they had their cabana deal there.
You know what? Let's start spreading that rumor about the ReMa boys. Like, they're wild, man. You should see the kind of trouble they get into.
They get drinking Crown Apple Sprite. Everything's loose.
I just let them loose on everything with stuff. I did talk to him last week. He plans on being in St. Louis, so we're looking forward
Awesome.
to seeing them there. So we're going to be in St. Louis. Unfortunately, Tehya can't join us this year,
No.
but we're going to have an interesting Ruint show. Mobile.
Mobile show.
The mobile show.
How well do you think we're going to be able to do that?
Probably not very well, but we'll make
it'll
it
be
even
so easy.
Yeah, I think it'll be.
Us belly up to that bar, though.
It'll be great though. It'll be funny footage. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just really picture Noah. Are we getting the tiny mics? Is that
Yeah.
what we're doing?
Yeah.
And just you talking to Dancing Jansen and just really pushing the mic into his face. Like, that's what it's going to be. Yeah, he'll probably swallow it. So
Just bite it.
yeah, so looking forward to being there. So just so you folks know now, be on the lookout because we're not going to warn you, and we're just going to start interviewing you.
It's crazy how
It'll be
fast the
fun.
show comes up. It seems like we're just there. Like, boom, we're back.
Oh, it's crazy how fast January's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's insane.
it's crazy how fast 2024.
Yeah.
So
It really is.
But yeah, so looking forward to that. Looking forward to some discussions while we're there and seeing everybody. Maybe talking about copper bricks.
Yes.
A hot topic these days.
Yes, it is, and it's kind of part of
mass.
right. The copper thing, though, is kind of part of what we talked about earlier.
Hold on, Noah just asked me what black mass was.
You don't want to know. It's something that's you're gonna be part of a class action suit over black mass in the distant future. All right. So you have that to look forward to.
I don't either.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hold on. We've talked about it on this show before.
I don't think
guys
so.
need to
Black
retain,
mass
like a black
is it's the product you get from recycling lithium batteries.
Right.
Okay. So basically,
I know we've talked about that before, but I don't think you've specifically said like this is black.
okay, so basically the recycling procedure for lithium batteries currently is just putting them in a Vitamix blender. Have you ever seen that YouTube channel Will It Blend? It's awesome. You've never seen it? It's
I want to now.
You should. It's this dude in a lab coat that just puts anything you can imagine into a blender. It's called
What
Will
are
It
you
Blend. He'll put
watching?
marbles in there. He'll put iPhones in there.
He discovered this late at night one time and just
It's shocking that you guys wouldn't know what this is. It was the most popular YouTube channel for years. But anyway, that's kind of the process. Is you're just grinding lithium batteries down into dust, and then that dust is comprised of cobalt, lithium, and a few other materials. Right.
you capture it. Like that's the problem. If it is, then
It's hard to capture. The dust control is difficult. It's obviously toxic. You don't want to be breathing lithium dust. Maybe it will, but the point is
maybe it'll plug that hole.
we're figuring out a way to do it, and obviously we're going to need a lot more of that in the future because we've got EVs. I think California can't sell another gas car sometime in 2035-ish.
That's the.
They can't sell a new one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they can't.
So
Which is gonna. I mean, that's such a large market. They're what, the 5th largest economy in the world?
in the world, yeah.
Just California by themselves. So if you think, Ford and GM and
They're
Dodge
all making EVs.
are gonna just tailor just to California for that. They're not. They're gonna make everything in
When those batteries go out, and they need to be recycled.
We have to come up with a process for that, and it's starting to ramp up a little bit. China used to be illegal to export or import the stuff. You had to handle it on site with your own process and supply stream. But now China's taking imports of the stuff, so we're starting to figure out how to ship it, how to process it, and that's going to be a huge thing in the future, obviously. So it's something that everybody really needs to get in on and start collecting lithium batteries.
If they'll ever go away from lithium batteries, kind of like how they went away from lead acid batteries.
I'm sure that
new by
I mean, battery technology's changing.
Talked about nuclear power for
It's
you know.
And there'll be at some point, in the distant future, everything will be powered by a miniature nuclear reactor that's the size of a computer chip, probably, you know? And your phone will never need to be charged. They've got nuclear aircraft carriers that can stay out for 50 years without coming back in.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
After us on a plane for 50 years together.
I'd jump.
Damn.
Without a chute or...
Good chance of it.
50 years? You'd have a good time.
I would have a good time before I jumped, for sure.
Okay. That's easy. So you just get bored one day?
Yeah. I got it.
But no, you're right. It's at some point we're going to move on from lithium batteries, but right now that's all we have is lithium batteries. All of this stuff's going to have to be recycled. We're going to have to recover this cobalt, this lithium. This stuff is not obviously just going to go to waste, and we're starting to figure out how to do that.
So I think we were talking about new administration, all that stuff earlier. I think, this article that Brooks is referencing talked about China putting a national standard on what they can take in for black mass. So essentially they're putting regulation on, you can send it to us, but it
has to meet these, right.
The first ones to do that. And this, like Brooks said, the stuff's nasty. It's downful. There need to be ways to contain it. Brooks has done a lot of research on how push can get involved in it.
I wonder if they have a underwater solution.
They do. That's exactly what it is. It's underwater shredding, basically. Right. And so then they capture all these materials underwater, and there's going to be a whole industry built around how do you identify and test this stuff to find out what the percentages are.
How do you get rid of that water out of the tip?
Exactly.
No different than the solution table we have. It'll go through some kind of filtration system, and it'll be contained in that.
And we'll get to the point where we're efficient at recovery in the 90% area, So we're going to figure it out. It's just a matter of time. The point is there's going to be a whole industry built around recovering lithium and cobalt from
But you're
batteries.
also seeing, in this example, China. This was a Fast Markets article, by the way. So it just says, by the Fast Markets team, dated January 14th of 2025, the national standards for black mass could help open import markets, sources say. Point being is that they've seen that this is coming, and they're making plans to be able to.
And they've already largely got it figured out because the Chinese don't necessarily care about regulations for their, environmental regulations.
They put the green wall up, though, so that's surprising but that was more plastic paper type product, but it was because we were shipping them essentially garbage, and pudding cups, put a lot of pudding cups, but they decided they didn't want to be the world's landfill anymore. What this really to me is saying is that we know this is a problem, and we are going to offer at least a standard as a solution. So, and Brooks was talking about deregulation earlier. That's what it's going to take in the U.S. in order to be able to compete in this market. And that's a lot of what, again, whether you like him or not, what Trump's trying to do. He doesn't want jobs to move overseas or south of the border. We're trying to keep that here. And the way you do that is by deregulating companies, allowing them to
exactly. And these guys just put a flag in this turf, so to speak, and made the claim. So now this is when you're going to see American companies start to ramp up and figure this stuff out.
And there obviously has to be some sort of thought. And Brooks, I don't know if you went through this line by line, but essentially what they're, in my overview of it, is they've got rules on it, and their rules are a lot looser than anything we could ever do here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why they're the trailblazer in most things, is because they're
Like, if it's killing all your people, though, then eventually you have to stop. You know what I mean?
eventually, but you can get a lot of R&D done if you're not worried about casualties, you know? So,
Like, we should test it in Kellogg's.
Yeah, we should.
Like, the Kellogg'ians would probably,
They'd thrive.
they'd be out of control down there.
there's actually machines on the market now that you can buy to get started on this stuff, and they're super expensive. They don't really have the process figured out yet, but, you know, we're on the way. We could definitely build our own. I don't know how effective it's going to be, and there's probably going to be some fatalities, but we can give her a shot.
It's like the smelter all over.
Yeah.
We could close down all 3 yards just to focus on this one thing. Sorry for that.
That's right. And figured you wanted to touch my new shirt.
That's nice.
Thank
That's
you.
kind of looks like a Charlie Sheen shirt.
That's why I'm wearing it.
Kind of does look like a Charlie Sheen shirt.
Promote my inner Charlie Sheen and, you know, all of the accolades and problems.
Inner Charlie Sheen's coming out tomorrow evening, ain't he?
Is he?
I'm sure he will. Aren't you going to get to Mexico tomorrow evening?
Oh, yeah. That's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
I might start at the airport. Flight's at 6 a.m.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love drinking at the airport at like 5, 6
I've also
in the morning.
never had to have, 8 kids with me.
Yeah.
Or 7 kids with me.
Might really be drinking.
Actually, we'll count Julia. 8 kids with me on this trip as well. So it's it'll be an interesting time
It'd
for sure. But,
be funny just to follow you around there, Jeff.
no, but
Jeff loves to FaceTime you from the bar, and he'll like get the bartender on the phone. Like, so I'm just sitting there sober as can be talking to this Mexican bartender. I'm like, what is this?
one of the best stories probably of me and Noah's interactions as pals together is I got an Uber ride home. This was several years ago one night, and the kid told me he was from down by where Noah lives. I'm like, oh shit, we should call him Noah. You guys know each other. So on the phone with Noah, like, hey, this kid, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, you're pretty cool, man. And it's just me, my cousin, and him in the vehicle, and we get to my house, and I'm like, shit, you want to come in for a coffee? And Noah goes, I don't think you realize how that sounds to this Uber driver. Just inviting him into the house. So, again, I was sober. You were not. He didn't want to come in, which was BS, but
I'm sure he didn't. Would you have?
you know what? I'm all down for stories. There's always there's been a lot of stories of you just in someone's kitchen at 3 a.m.
That's true. That's true.
But now we're all grown up.
Are we?
Yeah. Now we're just in our own kitchens.
Getting
but it's-
closer.
We're just taking the old man peas now these days. So, but
You get up to pee in the middle of the night?
I do.
I haven't started that yet.
It's coming.
Yeah.
What age is that at?
About 40-ish.
It's not really a targeted number because I've been doing it for years. What's that commercial? I have a growing problem. A growing problem. What's it have to do with?
That's tough, man.
This is like a yeah. Well, I forget what product it's.
I can't remember.
It's
Viagra?
no, it's not that. No, it's none of them. It's about like your bladder being constrained by something. Wait. We'll look that up for next time. I won't make Tehya do that now. So,
Sorry about the bladder constraint.
but anyway, speaking of bladders, back to black mass. Like this is going to be, I think, the next wave
Yeah, for sure.
of recycled material.
It's a hard problem to figure out. So it's going to be a long process, but I think you're right. It's going to be sort of what the frontier is trying to figure out how to recycle technology.
Yeah, and I think that's also true. Like with black mass comes some of those higher alloy materials, like we've been talking about. But copper is going to become very friendly to recycle and all that stuff. So I think you're going to start seeing copper, somewhat used again. However, with that being said, maybe I'm going to talk myself out of it now because you're seeing a lot of copper things that copper was used for in the past. It's now being replaced by aluminum. Mm-hmm. So, what's cool about aluminum is that it's indefinitely recyclable. So you can just keep recycling it, and you don't lose any of it. So,
Yeah, still though we're gonna see a big push for more copper, and there's a Fast Markets article out on that too, just about when we need to bump up the volume of copper that we see recycled every year to meet, new green energy demands, whether it be wind farms, solar farms, whatever it might be, the new batteries. I mean, it's going to take a lot of copper to get this stuff built out. So I think we're going to see a big bump in that, and obviously we're going to see likely higher copper prices because we're going to have a big demand for it and maybe a bit of a short supply.
Hells yeah.
Hills, yeah.
Started that show, Landman.
No, but I love Billy Bob.
What a great segue.
Yeah.
No, this ties in I guess I don't know how factual it is, but like they do like talk about some facts of the wind farms and how much oil and stuff it takes to produce these things.
Yeah.
Just like the facts that they said in there was kind of crazy when you think about it. How much oil is in everything we use every
Yeah.
day.
Oh, it is. And there's no getting away from
That's
oil.
a good show.
Yeah. No.
I watched it with my
almost like it better
parents.
than Yellowstone.
He's right about a lot of that, but a lot of that diatribe there is sort of politically motivated.
Sure.
It's a Taylor Sheridan show. He's obviously a right winger, and that's fine, but you got to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. He's right though. There's no getting away from oil and petroleum products. It's never going to happen.
No.
Right.
Until they don't exist anymore.
Right.
Until
We're gonna take the last drop, and then we're gonna figure something out.
Right. You hear Trump say, we've got that liquid gold under our feet. That's what he's talking about. Yeah, no, what's your thoughts on fracking?
I want to learn about fracking. I think I could be a landman.
Did you?
I think so. But I also thought,
Just because you'd wear a hat, or what do you mean? Why do you think you could be
I don't know, I just see myself.
a land man?
I see myself in the oil fields.
I don't.
That's a tough job.
I think they could do a show like that, but call it the Scrap Man. I think yeah.
We could say that for
Dude, there's plenty of material there. I mean, we could just set cameras up at scrap yards and get enough for a
Problem is, I
reality
think
show.
it'd be more successful, like as a Discovery Channel show, or
Or like a Dirty Job show series.
You wouldn't expect an oil rig show to be as big of a hit as it is, but
Yeah, I thought it was going to be boring, but I really liked it. And I actually learned a lot.
yeah.
well, it's because the chick from Varsity Blues is on it. That's why.
Oh yeah, that's the whipped cream bikini chick.
Yeah.
I don't know her. Allie Larder?
Allie Larder.
Yeah, I know
we
her.
looked
She's
her up
the
yesterday.
female lead, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think she
she's
got
so
Wayne
white.
Brooks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Wayne. We should start doing a swing segment like Wayne's World.
I don't think we can pull off that. I don't think we can do that. No, not offensive, but we're not Wayne or Garth.
Why don't you?
If one of us had,
We're
to
not
be,
worthy.
you'd be Garth.
I'd be Wayne.
You would be Garth. I would totally be Wayne.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You don't know Wayne's World?
He's too young for that shit.
Yeah, but it's not.
8 years after that movie came out.
It's a movie.
So you only watch new shit? Like you don't watch?
Go back and do that. I don't. The Netflix that buffers.
I don't have a
ruined their
VHS player anymore.
That Wayne's World is available on streaming services.
I don't have Wi-Fi.
Noah would be the dude in the back that pukes.
I
Then
know
they're going
what
to
it
the
is, I've
show.
just never seen it.
Yeah.
What's I forget his name? You're wasted again.
Isn't that the dude that was in Encino Man? Not Brendan Fraser, but the dude that was also in.
Yeah, you're.
Yeah. He played the prick at the dance, and then he was a bully.
That's you.
I'll take it.
I bet you.
I'll
will.
take it.
What else you got, Noah? What are we talking about here today?
Hey, what do we got coming up in 2025?
Give me one of your goals, Brooks. Just
I was just going to ask, you guys have any resolutions for
I don't
the
do
year?
resolutions. I do goals.
Goals, okay.
I think my resolution for 2025 is to drink less alcohol.
Boring.
We are aware.
Whiskey.
What's that?
We're aware. Max
Are you
upset
doing
about it.
damp
Brooks?
January or dry January?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brooks is doing dry jam. Only
But-
to piss his wife off, though.
Yeah, sort of.
Dry or damp?
No, it's been dry. It's been rough.
Chelsea's doing that too. It's annoying.
Damp?
Dry. Yeah, dry. So I said the other night, I'm like, so you're doing dry January or whatever. I've been drinking the whole time. I'm like, I'm still alive.
Good point.
Yeah, I'm still here.
No, it's really just as a means to not be such a fat ass anymore. If I don't drink 3 or 4 days a week, then I'll get healthier.
Like mental toughness or physical.
both.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite of that.
I'm not mentally tough enough to not drink, I don't think. I'm proud enough to say that.
It's hard. It's hard when that's just your go-to on a Friday or Saturday. You know. Now you have to figure something out.
I don't think you drank.
No.
I never really do either.
I love the social aspect of drinking more than the feeling of being drunk.
The problem for me
Probably,
is
yeah.
I'm an absolute Olympian when it comes to drinking Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, and gotta win those medals.
Yeah, maybe an alternate Olympian, but not.
Like,
No.
he'd be a sub.
I'm the Michael Phelps.
Yeah, like a practice squad.
No,
Yeah.
the absolute champion.
warm up guy. Like,
I don't
warm
drink
up
like
athletes.
watered down beer like you do though. Like
I don't either.
I drink Miller Lights.
Dude, you come over with a seltzer in your hand
I've never once.
up at the. Yes, you have. Bullshit.
Mike's
There was a time where we didn't have anything else. Like that's the move I had.
There's been several times when that's what you're drinking, and that's okay. Just don't pretend to be something you're not.
Why are you lying around me?
You're
Now,
there's
you're
times
pretending
when,
to be something
There's
you're not.
times when you do. I will say
I
that.
bring bottles of tequila over when I come.
I will say that when you guys came over on New Year's Eve, we made quick work of a bottle of Angel's Envy.
Me and you.
Yeah.
Glass for it.
It was like one. You guys were only there for an hour, and we killed like almost the whole bottle.
That's the first bourbon you got me to drink in St. Louis that first year.
We drank a bottle that evening.
That stuff's delicious, and the rye, the Angel's Envy rye, is fucking awesome. No, but the rye is great for old fashions. Yeah.
Brooks and I love a good old fashioned.
Oh
On the
man,
bartender.
dude, that guy was. I feel traumatized by my experience with that
I
dude.
was in the Twilight Zone watching that interaction.
I don't know what you're talking.
We were in St. Louis.
Them too.
You were not there with us. You left us to go be with your other friends. So it's just
Yeah.
Brooks and I.
Other friends.
So anyways, me and Brooks got these old fashions made, and we were at the bar, but they were making an old fashioned station over here. So we're like, oh, they didn't put bitters in our old fashions, right? So we go over to the station and we're
This
like,
is that Union Station.
yeah, we're like, hey, can we get some bitters? And he didn't respond. The guy didn't look at us. So Brooks grabs the bottle. There's like 18 bottles.
I was there for this. I remember this now.
So Brooks grabs the bottle, and the dude swipes it out of his hand.
And he
Says,
knocked
"Don't touch
over.
my equipment," and knocks
Yeah.
over all of his shit.
Yeah, it's like don't touch my equipment.
So great. So you guys have now put us on blast.
It's
when we
just
go back.
it's just a bottle of fucking bitters, man. It's not
Standing
equipment.
there like this.
It's like
Crying, laughing.
it's like you're putting on this show to make old fashions, but you're not using bitters. What kind of old fashions are these? They're not old fashions, in fact, at all.
Brooks, because there's a picture, and maybe I can put it up on the show here when we go live with this. So if Brooks standing in the bathroom the same way after there was
everybody is
assault
out.
or something like that in there.
Everybody's out to get Brooks, and they say,
Just seriously, it's like
He's getting tackled in the bathroom.
are
The
putting
police
some
are in the
weird-
bathroom. Police were in the bathroom with you.
right all the time. I'm like,
Garbage can was tipped over.
but hey, we won.
We did win.
I kind of.
We won.
Do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm? I kind of have this.
Larry Davidson.
Well, it's just like shit is drawn to me. Like these fucked up scenarios just come at me for no reason.
You did get gnawed on. Somebody chewed on you last
Yeah.
year, too.
I mean, it's just never ending. It's happened once a day at least. I'm put in a position that I can't reconcile in my mind.
Man.
Poor Brooks.
Hope things get better for you in 2025, buddy.
Me too.
New resolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
Resolution not to be in the wrong place at the right time. Wrong place, wrong time.
He bit. He's like, yep, this is my fault.
Yeah. I was being told that it was my fault that I was.
By the person
Yeah.
fighting you.
Right.
He said, you did this. Just gnawing on him a little bit.
Oh, that was amazing.
So, mine's 6-pack by 40, which is July 1st. I turned
You're
40 this year.
40 on July 1.
July 1 this year. I turned 40 years old.
All
You
right.
think he'll talk to me anymore?
What are you
Maybe.
doing for your 40th?
I don't know yet. There was talk about like an Alaskan cruise, but
All right.
Well, you're in season, aren't you? Do you guys have a game that weekend?
No.
Oh,
I'll go.
well, there you go.
No.
That weekend.
Party.
If you want to go.
Yeah.
Just put me in.
I'll play in. You can be the owner. Am I playing drums this year? Not the first game. I've replaced you because you didn't do the best job.
I thought he did a fantastic job.
You actually did really, really well.
I
Yeah.
heard great things.
For not really knowing what you're doing, you did a good job.
For nobody that was I gave instructions to, everyone did the complete opposite of what I told them. Besides you, of what I told them to do. It's like take the camera up and point it at them. They just stayed on the field the whole time and did all they said.
I figured it out though.
You did good.
Nobody else has
So-
to screen.
Do you want to do a game? All right.
I'm not running the flag again. That's Brooks' job next.
I can't run. I'm unable to run.
When's the last time you ran somewhere?
Oh my God.
I can't.
Me last year, I was getting ready to race Steph.
I mean, I run across the road sometimes to just avoid being
Isn't that more like a
Hit.
shuttle? Like you shuttle it?
the shuffle. No.
Javon and I had a foot race in the warehouse from the shop to the office. We were messing around. I'm like, yeah, I'll race you up there. And he's like, no, you won't. And then we both took off just a dead sprint. He's fast as hell.
Yeah.
Is he fast or are you just?
I was right on his heels the whole time. I think he had a little head start. But I watched the security camera footage. We were moving. My glasses flew off my hat.
We were doing so bad. Didn't stop it. Nope. Finished the race first. Well, guys, this has been a great kickoff show for 2025.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah, look for us in St. Louis. We'll be looking for you too.
Yeah, I'll be around.
We're gonna put that mic right up in your grill and ask you some questions.
This for you. So have your answers ready.
Yeah.
We will be back, I think, a show before that, if I got my calendar right. So we're going to do one more, and hopefully grab a guest for that show, and then we will be down in St. Louis. So we'll also do a better job of getting these out, but I want to thank Davis Index for the ticker on the bottom, and welcome to 2025, boys. It's going to be a good time.
Thanks, guys.
And Tehya, sorry.
Yep.
You're not a boy.
Thanks to Fat Cup as well.
Thanks to Fat Cup.
The Fat Cup Studios. I like the sound of that. So we'll see you soon. Thanks. Whoa, boom! Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching the Ruint podcast this week. Stay up to date with us at www.ruintpod.com. We also have some advertising opportunities available. Just shoot us an email at info@ruintpod.com. And to the greatest industry in the world, sometimes you just got to get out and smell that success, baby.